what's on the market. The blue is the existing homes. Red is newly constructed home. And both are falling. And in fact, newly constructed home, the red, is at a 50-year low. Blue is the bigger animal. Existing inventory is much larger than the new inventory. Every time I show this chart, then someone would raise their hand and ask, what about the shadow? So these are visible inventory already on the market, but what about that scary shadow inventory that is not on the market, but it will reach the market? And that shadow inventory will be homeowners who are under distress. They have not been paying their mortgage for 3 months, 6 months, and you know that somehow that home will come to the market at some point. In some states, that process can take up to 3 years because it requires a judge saying home is now turned over to a bank. In other places like Arizona, you don't pay your mortgage, you are out right away. So it varies depending upon the state as to whether it needs to go to the court system to get a foreclosure or not. But there is a shadow, and the shadow looks like the following. Shadow inventory is the number of distressed mortgages, either 3 months late, already in foreclosure process, or whatnot, and it is not normal. But it is no longer peak. It is below the peak. What does this mean? This means that last year, if we look at all the home sales, 1/3 of transactions were classified as distress, meaning either foreclosure sale or needing a short sales approval. 1/3. In 2012, this year, it looks like it's going to be 25%, because it's slightly less. Next year is going to be about 15% of all transactions will be distressed. Following year, maybe 7%, and finally, in about 3 or 4 or 5 years, maybe we'll get back to normal. But the dynamics impact on distressed property sales, shadow inventory to the prices is actually positive for prices. You have 1/3 of transaction last year impacting negatively. This year is 25% impacting negatively. Next year, 15%. So the percentage impact is diminishing, which means that it will have, in terms of the aggregate prices, less of a negative impact with each preceding year. So which means that price increase that you see today in Charleston, which is a slight increase, that's not going to be negatively impacted by shadow inventory suddenly coming onto the market, because that impact will be diminished. Last year it was 1/3, this year 25%, next year 15%. So shadow is clearly negative, but the impact to the market is steadily diminishing and becoming less impactful than before. So